poppin' squad? It's your boy Jesimein, and today I am happy to announce we are officially sponsored by ViewSonic Elite. I have a curve monitor that they blessed your boy with. I'm telling you guys, bro, it has changed my perspective on gaming, literally, bro. I never thought I wanted a curve monitor, and they sent it. You guys can see right here. I'll give you guys a little snippet. I'll definitely be doing like a more in detailed video on it, but I just want you guys to know we are officially sponsored. I have a link at the bottom of the description of the video if you guys want more details on this 100 hertz RGB curve experience. Man, I'm telling you guys, bro, it will change everything, bro. I'm not going with anything else. Hopefully they bless your boy with some, some monitors for a little giveaway. Stay tuned for the details on that. But I'm telling you guys, if you guys want an amazing experience with monitors, ViewSonic Elite is the way to go. So enjoy the video. I'm out. What is poppin', squad? It's your boy Jesimein. Today, I'm going to be sharing my main build that I've been using in PvP. And PVE on the side, obviously, but intended for PvP. I finally got that young eagle bear, so obviously that was pretty much the last piece I pretty much needed to complete the build. But without further ado, let's get into it. I ain't gonna waste no more of y'all time. So obviously it's going to be a skill build, but in this sense, I guess you can call it a hybrid because it can do pretty much everything that you need it to do in the game. And I'll try to be as detailed as possible in explaining why I built it the way I have. If you've been catching my streams, you've been seeing that I've been able to compete with a lot of DPS builds. I've been able to switch to like trolley type builds, cheesy builds, all just by the switch of a skill based off of how I have the build set up. So first things first, weaponry. Now you have two options. Obviously you can go more meta based, which is ARs if you can have a P4. That's what I was using before I had the Eagle Bear, or you can obviously get you an Eagle Bear. If you already have one, then you're already set on that. But if you don't have the Eagle Bear and you don't like ARs, another really good option with this build, if you're going to go the DPS way, is going to be running the Pestilence. And the reason is because the Pestilence hits decent enough. One, because it's an LMG and you get that damage out of cover anyways, but also because of the Pestilence debuff against players. Being that you're going to have tremendous heals, you can pretty much out-sustain while face tanking if you proc your gloves and DPS straight up. And the person you're shooting at, even though you're not hitting extremely hard, you hit hard enough, plus their heals get nerfed, and if they can't heal, they get beamed. And if you land your shots, I promise you 9 times out of 10 you're gonna be able to win most engagements. I promise you most of your games are either gonna lead in them getting extra, I guess, excited that the fact that you're sitting there face tanking, they see your health go down fast because you're not extremely ultra tanky, but at the same time your heals are going to make up for that, and they find themselves not being able to heal themselves good enough and end up dying. And obviously they don't even go down, because if you get that full Pestilence mark on them, that's pretty much GG. So you can run it that way, or you can obviously go the regular way, hit your shots with Eagle Bear. And since Eagle Bear has such a high base damage anyways, you pretty much don't even need to worry about running it on a skill build. So that's that. Now going into the build, obviously it's going to be built around the gloves. The gloves are what make this build. You absolutely need the BTSU gloves to run this build. There is no alternative for the way it's set up. You're not going to have the heals necessary if you don't have it procced, and you're not going to have the skill damage necessary otherwise. So how I have it is I have a Providence mask with skill haste, skill power, with surge for skill haste. You can, if you don't have really good skill power mods and rolls, you can put skill power on the talent, but I go for surge. The faster I get my skills back, the better, and obviously that applies to all your skills, so it's better overall. And if you really need to make up for skill power, it's easier to do that, because since you can't get skill haste mods, you get all skill power mods. So it's easier to make up for skill power than it is skill haste. So try to get skill haste right here, and you get the 10% skill power from Providence. Now on my chest piece, a lot of people want to run for Alps, which will be good if you have. I have a really good Alps chest, but it's not God roll. But for the BTSU gloves, Alps is not the best option, because you can only get 2 utility slots from it, and you get, yes, you get hardened or whatever, but ultimately you're not really worried about that anyway, since your heals are so good. You can run it if you just don't like ongoing directive. You can run it, but I'm telling you, having more yellows is more important with this build, because the more OP your heals are, it's like having toughness and heals at the same time. So it really doesn't matter. You don't need 500k armor running this build anyways. 400k is a sweet spot for me, or around there. You see I'm very close to it. I'm probably going to be pushing it very soon. But overall, you do not need to rely on having that extra 20% skill haste right here, because you have so much anyways, and I'll explain why afterwards. So the reason I opt for my Alps chest is because not only do I get really good rolls. I mean, my rolls pretty much suck, but you can get explosive damage. There's a lot of different combinations you can get ongoing. But because I can roll 2 electronics and I can have 2 utility mod slots, which go into, that's a whole nother, almost, in this case, a whole nother 260 skill power I can add on top of that. Plus its 2 utility slots, which go into BTSU, which is going to ultimately buff all my stuff anyway. So there's that, and obviously I also get a defensive mod slot on top of that for some extra tankiness, you know what I'm saying? So I'm pretty much missing 7% total armor because I would have hardened and 20% skill haste, which is not really, because it doesn't matter because I'm going to have such high skill anyway. So I'm not even using it. Yes, you get 20% weapon handling, so this is really good if you use an Eagle Bear. So when you rock the 2-piece ongoing anyway, so that's a good little bonus, but I don't really care too much about that. I'm more into having the 4 utility slots, which is why, as you can see, my grand total is 13. Now with a holster, I will always tell everybody, if you're running BTSU gloves, there is no better holster than to run other than this one. Because you get another 4 slots, you know what I'm saying? And you can get really good rolls. You can see I'm easily going to be able to roll that skill power up to like 700. I really didn't need to. I have 3,000 skill power anyways. That'll just be going overkill. But as you can see, it gets 30% skill haste, 572 skill power, plus I can roll, or I can have 2 more utility mod slots, which is a whole nother 280 skill power on top of that anyways. So as you can see, just like I was saying earlier with the mask, it's so easy to get skill power when you're running ongoing directive, that you're able to spec into surge on both of your pieces while maintaining high skill power and skill haste with toughness. So I would say if you're going to run it this way, the best way that you're not losing too much is going to be on the chest piece and the holster, only because mostly what you're giving up talent wise is probably hardened. Most people are probably going to run hardened anyways. That's probably what you're losing. Whereas on a mask, you're giving up 20% skill haste for free, and you don't want to do that. That's more important than hardened for me, because you can make up for toughness in other places, such as the backpack, which I'm going into. This is the backpack I bought from the vendor. The God roll version I would want is I wouldn't even want weapon damage. The more utilities I want, the better. On the ropes is really good for this build. If you're using a DPS version, obviously it's just free damage, and you definitely have more than 7 electronics anyways. But if you're just going to run tankiness, if you want to be able to break that 350k, you're going to need a really good Gila backpack, because you get a utility and another defensive. So it's really good. I have 18.5% total armor and 25,000 armor. Obviously, people have better backpacks, so it's going to be work out for you. You can pretty much use whatever backpack you use for your DPS build on this, because the rest of your pieces make up for the skill department anyway. So, yeah, go into that. And the most important part, obviously, is the BTSU data gloves. If you don't know how these work, basically, you get 50% status effect duration and skill haste for skills that do status effects, such as the blinder, foam launcher, fire starter, and I believe that's it. Yeah, I think that's it as far as stats effects. But you get 50% free skill haste on top of that, plus duration for those. And whenever you proc somebody, you get a 60-second buff, which is a minute. And for each electronic, you get 10% skill damage, skill healing, repair, and skill duration. So being that I have 13 electronics, that's 130% on top of everything. The best part of this buff is if you're going to be running, like, if you saw my Meteor Strike build for damage, it's really good, and for healing. The duration's cool. It's extremely strong. It's 130% duration on fire and blind, so it's really good. But overall, the biggest part is the healing, because you become God mode for temporary, as long as you drop your chems. And what's really cool is also on top of that, you get the duration. So when you drop your chem, they last on the floor forever, long enough pretty much to where you get a whole nother one if you have really good skill haste, which is why it synergizes so well. And charge proxies, this is for pretty much if you're using like a secret mine, you throw it, it has another explosion that also infuses the enemies with that, and they also take more damage. But the main part of it is proccing your gloves to be able to have this buff with all your skills, which pretty much makes you unkillable for a moment, even if multiple people are shooting at you. If you've seen my streams, you've pretty much seen all the instances where I can pretty much escape almost any situation if I play it correctly, and dropping chems are ridiculously OP. Especially when they steal it, which is the only thing that sucks about this build. So the only weakness of this build is that your enemies can steal your heals, which is kind of whack, but hopefully they change that. And going down to the knee pads, I opted for Gila just because I can get the 2 defensive mod slots. You can go another ongoing if you really want, just to get more utility, but you'll lose some toughness. I wanted to break 400k, so that's the only way I'm gonna be able to do it. So once I get a better armor mod, I'll be straight. But as you can see, I have Surge on here as well. And being that, even with 2 Surge, mind you, I can have 2 empowered rolls right here and get a whole 20% extra skill power, but I don't need it because I'm already at 3,000 skill power just from these 2 pieces alone. I get an abnormal amount, and if right now if you go to the vendor, you can get 1,000 skill power on your chest and you'll be good to go. Being that you can't roll skill haste on chest piece, it's better to opt for it on your mask and on your knee pads than to sacrifice it trying to pull out skill power because you don't want to use an ongoing chest or ongoing holster. So going into the skill combinations now, for me, I feel you can run whatever you want with this build. That's pretty much how I designed it. It's like covers all the skill department because it's so universal. Because you're tanky enough, you can pretty much run whatever combination you like. But the most effective combos, okay, this is what, from my experience, is all I've been running. In my humble experience, you have a set of combos you can do. Now, the most, I would say the most popular one I like is going to be running a blinder combination with the chem launcher, and that's your DPS. So if you want to run DPS, this is the combination you're gonna run. You're gonna blind, get a free proc, you're gonna have your crazy heals, and then you just proceed to play it as if you're running a DPS build. Face tank and drop chems, you're gonna have a ridiculous heal. I have trash chem launcher mods and I'm still unkillable almost, it feels like. So I'm pretty sure you guys watching this who super farmed and have really good mods, you have like 90% heals. You can definitely opt for that however you want. You know, you can even run like a double heal like you see right here. If you go on mine, I have trash heal, I have like a 55%. So some people have like 290s and you're gonna be doing ridiculous amount of healing, and it's gonna be ridiculous, especially as you can see right here with, like, if I have 114,000 armor repair, if you add that 130%, like, boom, that's upwards 230 plus. So with the chem launcher alone, you're gonna have crazy heals. So remember, use the Firefly Blinder to get your glove proc, and when your gloves turn red, you just pretty much proceed to fight how you would. Another really good combo is going to be the foam to use your proc. That's going to be your proc for your gloves. Obviously, you're going to hold somebody in place too, which is going to be really good support for your teammates. And then you're going to use the healing hive. I have a ridiculous radius mod that I have with my healing hive that basically covers the whole fighting map that I need. So if you're going to run that too, because you need to have a heal if you're going to run, because remember, even though you're almost pushing 400k, if you run it my way, you're still going to be squishy because you have no health, and Eagle Bears tear through it anyways. So having that hive with that 130% buff on the healing is going to be really good as well. And you're going to be able to foam people, which stops them from shooting. You're going to foam and jump behind them, let your teammate beam them, and that's that. Another really good combination is going to be double heals. It's going to be, if you want to run the healing, the true healer mode, but you're going to have to find a way to proc. And the way I say do that is run survivalist. Obviously, you're going to run that because you want to be your main healer anyways. But if you're going to run this, you get fire and age. You're going to use that to get a quick proc. If you're, especially in PvP situations, drop that hive and drop chems, and there's nobody's dying on your team. You're going to be the ultimate healer in all instances. The healing hive almost gives them probably more than 50% of their armor, plus your chems are going to clean up that either way. So in PvE, that's probably an even easier way to run it, because NPCs are stupid. You'll be able to proc it. And I guess in the future raids, if you're gonna need a healer, this is the best way to run heals in this game currently, because you can't get, I don't care what hybrid you run, you can't beat an extra 130, 140, 150 plus healing on any build, no matter what you run, especially with the mods that you have. So if you want to run it that way, you definitely can. And as far as other combinations, I guess you can mix and go. The one thing I say, out of all the skills that pretty much don't get really touched by the glove, is going to be the ballistic shield. If the ballistic shield apply a bleed when you melee or something, it'll be amazing. But for the gloves, I'm sorry, there's really nothing that it benefits it. It's not like it gives 130% skill health. If it did that, that would be different, but it doesn't. So if you're looking for the gloves to run it with your shield, I just don't see a point, because even if you were to run your shield with a proc that procced your gloves, it doesn't do nothing for you, because unless you're just going for true CC where you run around with a shield and you're probably just continuously blinding somebody behind cover of your shield or something, maybe something like that, or maybe for PvE situations you want to be crowd control, you can. But if anything, you have ridiculous heals. It's better to run the chem launcher, be able to heal yourself, which is more tankier than having the shield, and be able to heal your teammates at the same time. And for pulse, also I forgot, another proc combination you can run Instead of blind, like let's say you just don't like the blind firefly and you want to proc with your chem launcher in PvP, you can definitely run the disrupt or the jammer pulse, because it applies a disrupt to the status effect, which also counts as a proc for your gloves. So you can also, you can have some kind of support factor, right? Especially if you're going against people who are using other skills. This is probably the most optimal way to use it in like true situations where if you come across another player running it, to be able to like nerf their skills for a temporary time. And you also get 50% skill haste on your pulse too, which is really cool. So I know people are going to ask, does this regular scanner do it? No, the pulse status effect does not count as a glove proc, so unfortunately we can't do that. So all the people who would have loved to run this as like a spotter support, I'm sorry, that doesn't work. So with turrets, it supercharges turret, supercharges seekers, supercharges bombardier drone, your armor drone, and all of that. The main skills that really don't get a real effect are probably going to be all the shields and any other firefly mod. So I love y'all, appreciate y'all. Hope you guys enjoy this, man. I just don't see a better combination in the skill department than this build. Most people can say that, there's cool hybrids that work and better DPS. That's cool. It sounds good. But overall, if you want a build that you could just hop on and change your role just by changing skills, this is the build for you. You will destroy in PvP. This build counters most builds. There's one build that I'm not going to speak that my man Hello It's Lit has, that I'm pretty sure if you guys watch the stream knows. There's not many builds that can directly counter this. It's just way too much healing. Even when I sit there for 60 seconds and just let them just beam at me and I just move left and right, they just can't finish the job. So unless you get one tap by a seeker, a bombardier, or a merciless, you're pretty much set to go for every situation that you come across. Team fights, solo, farming, raid, whatever, however you want to look at it. I just think overall that this build is phenomenal. It's extremely fun, and I'm excited that skills work. If I go into stats real quick, I'm sorry, I forgot. I know people want to see real quick. My skill haste, I believe, is like 85% on this. Yeah, so I'm at 85% on skill haste. I can easily go up to 105 if I just change the chest, but I don't even feel the difference. I get my chems back in like 10 seconds, and I get my seekers back in 10 seconds, and I get my firefly back in 11 seconds. I don't really need that extra skill haste. I'm not going to give up toughness to get 20% skill haste when I pretty much have enough skills anyways. And plus, because of the duration on my chem, I really don't even need to run ammo because of how long the chems stay on the floor and how long the blinder lasts and how long everything lasts because of duration. So the duration is skill haste in itself, because you don't have to spam your skills over and over, where some people have to drop a chem launcher, it heals them for 3 seconds and it's gone, where in this case you drop a chem launcher, it lasts for like 7 seconds right before your next one even comes. And if you have more than one in your reservoir, your cooldown cycle is going to be good either way. So yeah, that's pretty much it, you guys. This is my main skill build. This is the build that I've pretty much been using 24/7. You guys have seen gameplay of it. If you want to see more gameplay of a specific combo, feel free to let me know. I'll definitely, since I'm using it anyways, why not dedicate videos so you can see how the actual gameplay looks with certain combinations. There's a lot of improvement I could do to this build. Obviously, if I had 30% total armor, I'd be pushing 420 plus armor. Obviously, if I had a better backpack, there's a lot of things I can add. But even in the state that it is right now, and I have horrible RNG, with horrible RNG, if you run this setup, you're still going to be God tier. I don't know how else to prove it, other than all the gameplay I've done. Check out all my past streams. This is the main build I've been using, so any of those streams you click and you see PvP, this is the build I was using. No matter what skill combination I was using, literally this was it. I only have 2 builds, and one's a PvE build. So yeah, I love y'all. Let me know what you guys think about this build, man. This build is actually my favorite that I've played on Division 2 thus far. I'm going to be working on some other combinations now that I got the Eagle Bear, trying to play around with it. But overall, if you guys want my signature skill build, this is it. If you want to counter that Eagle Bear, Spotter, Devastating, Compensated, hybrid build that everybody's running on with Eagle Bears, this is going to be your best chance if you want to be outside of the difference, or unless you want to do some kind of true hitting skill build. So obviously, there's a lot of ways to tweak this build. If you want to go for more, like let's say you just rather use a Seeker or something, you can just obviously opt to put Destructive on these two, and it's extra 40% damage. Plus the 130, you're going to be good. You're going to be able to run tankiness with a Seeker. There's just a lot of combinations, which is why I love it. So hope you guys enjoy, man. Let me know what you guys think. What would you change? What would you not change? Is this build lit? Have you already seen gameplay and you guys already know? You just wanted to see the exact build setup. And yeah, so try to farm. My best advice is, first of all, you have to get the gloves. Eagle Bear is not a necessity. Eagle Bear just adds to the power. So this build's stronger than what you've seen in all my gameplay because I have an Eagle Bear now. But get the BTSU gloves. Most of you probably already have this backpack, and try to get these two pieces, right? You don't have to run Providence if you don't want to. You can run whatever you want. You can run China Light if you want to go for more explosion damage and whatever. But these three pieces are what make my build right now. It's gonna be all the utilities that I get, because having more than 10 utilities makes your heals feel ridiculous. So you can definitely spec down, like if you want more health, like I can give up 3 utility slots, still be at 100% and buff up my health by 50k. There's a lot of things you can do, but I just like the happy synergy, the happy middle ground that I'm at with this build and how I perform. So I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Stay tuned for more gameplay on this, more tweaks. Hopefully I can get a master optimized version done for the best version of how it could possibly look without having an optimization station in the future. And yeah, get out there, get farming, go grab those gloves. If you want to get the gloves, fastest way that I know is Camp Oak. Run it on story difficulty with 4 people and just keep running it over and over. You'll get it faster than you think. And obviously Eagle Bear is luck. But ongoing directive and stuff, you probably do like Tidal Basin or something, or the raid. That's the only way you're probably gonna get a better chance at getting direct pieces like this. And if I don't even think you can craft them. So yeah, that's pretty much it. You guys have a wonderful day. Drop a like, hit a comment, and yeah, my build's officially out. It is not a secret anymore for people who asked. Be blessed. Your boy is out.